Roger, let me ask you this, and I think I know the answer, but I want our listeners to hear it. Was there ever a good time to do this, or did you just decide to do it?
We just decided to do it. There was no good time. If I waited for a good time, when would it have been? I don't know. I would have probably just
Yeah.
put it off.
And we have a great product, but
Yeah.
we also, just like anybody else, when you're starting out, you got to get out there. You just got to market. So now with our business model and marketing strategy, we're able to get, be very strategic and pick ways to get out there that are very cost effective that can hit mass amounts of people in a very quick and efficient way.
Because any entrepreneur has got to look at, what are the barriers to entry to get into the market? And of course, one of them is money.
Right.
So depending on what it is you're going to go after as a business, that's a definite consideration. Welcome to the Bo and Luke Show, a podcast designed to inspire you to be better, know better, and do better. You can connect with Bo and Luke on social media at The Bo and Luke Show, or send us an email at fanfeedback@theboandlukeshow.com. Brought to you by Sound United. Without further ado, let's get after it. Bo and Luke Nation, we are back at it with an amazing episode. This one's a little bit different for us. We got a couple guests on the show this time. We have a repeat guest, Marques Ogden, our former NFL player, keynote speaker, coach, business consultant, all best-selling author, just extraordinary individual. And he's partnered with this company, Grind. And Roger, the founder of Grind, is with us as well. Roger, I might butcher your last name, so I'll let you tell everybody how to pronounce your last name. So with that, Roger, why don't you introduce yourself and tell the Bo and Luke Nation a little bit about Grind, and then we'll just go from there.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thank you, Bo and Luke, for having myself and Marques on. My name's Roger Gindlesperger Jr., based out of Utah, and I'm a former Army veteran. I served 20 years in the Army, 13 years in Special Operations, 14 combat tours, retired in 2017. Did a brief stint with Amazon for about a year and a half, transitioned back to the Air Force, actually, which is my day job right now. And then by night, my wife and I launched Grind Oral Care last January. And then we took 9 months to launch our first product, and we launched October 1st with Grind toothpaste.
So just this previous October 1st,
yes.
Literally 6 months ago.
Yes, correct.
Wow. Real quick, what was your MOS or your branch in the Army?
Yeah, I was a 92 Alpha Logistics.
Yep,
so
got it.
The entire time. Yep.
Awesome. Oh, that's
so
good.
For those of us not in the military, what does that translate to? So that the audience knows, not for me, of course.
Handling all beans, bullets, whatever you need to supply the mission. So
cool.
Anything you can think of supply wise or logistics wise, including transportation, all that would be included.
Incredibly important job.
That's right. Supply. I can see how you ended up at Amazon.
Yes.
At least for a short stint.
Hired.
Hired. That's right. How did you meet Marques? How did you two meet?
We met on LinkedIn.
Oh, of course.
Yep.
Walk me through that, because I love how these LinkedIn connections work. Who reached out to who? Was it just was this organic? How'd this come about?
Yeah, we had been friends on LinkedIn since 2016, and I reached out to Marques a few months back. Saw a need and really thought that he would be a really good strategic partner for me to grow this brand where we want to take it next.
Yeah, that's interesting. What appealed to you, Marques, from a product, before we get into the product, but just, meeting Roger? Was it all about Roger? Was it about his vision, or was it him, or all things?
It was a combination. So Roger definitely had great character. He had a good poise, confidence in what he was doing with the product. Yeah. And the name Grind really stuck out to me because, as you know me, Bo, I work with you as your coach. I've been grinding for years to get to the place where I am now with these clients and companies and all this great stuff. So then I had him send me some samples, and I actually have it right here, Grind Oral Care right here. And I tried it for about a week, and I was like, man, I really like this. It's good on my gums, good for the teeth. And then we had a conversation, and where Roger was lacking and needing some help with his journey was in the marketing aspect. So We've already got some people we're talking to about some big influencers, working on some nano influencers. We'll be doing some more posting on social media, draw more traffic. I've done a lot of podcasts the last, let's say like the last few weeks. I've been mentioning Grind Oral Care and our website, just trying to get that consistent traffic on that. We of course ran an ad with you and your organization and your podcast.
Yeah.
So trying to find ways to really get out there and just grow the exposure. I always tell people can't buy your product, they don't know you exist.
Yeah, no, that's right. And Marques, would you say, because you hear it a lot in the entrepreneur startup journey, especially when you're a product, like new product, right, or any product that you're trying to bring to the market, when you think, even when you watch Shark Tank and you think about investors and people wanting to partner with other people, was it the I mean, you just said it, but just to clarify, you're investing, or you're in Roger, right? You saw something in him, I would imagine, not just right.
Oh yeah, I mean, absolutely. I call that an alignment around a shared vision, Bo. And you know this, Bo, we talked about this many times. If you're not going to have what I call the commitment to get something done, or you're not going to be able to see eye to eye and build trust with somebody, don't even bother working with them, because there's a 5-step module to build a successful business. Trust, conflict resolution, commitment, accountability will drive results. If you don't have the first all four, walk away from that person, because it's never going to work out.
Yeah, and I think that's an important note for everybody listening. If you are, whether you're in the startup game or you're thinking about a startup or bringing a new product to market, and whether it's you looking for someone to partner with you and your new company, or you're someone looking to partner with a new company, you got to have those things. Those are the first things to be looking for, right?
Absolutely.
Way before you start thinking about, is this an actual product that could sell, and how well will it do? Is there a market for it? If you don't have all of those things Marques just mentioned, and who you're partnering with, it probably isn't going to go too well for you, or you'll just spend a lot of time spinning your wheels. Good stuff. Awesome. Luke, what do you think about this? I think it's great.
All right. So I have some thoughts. Sorry, I had to clear my throat before I jumped into this. Number one, branding is on point on your site. First of all, I'm on there right now, and I look at a lot of brands. I've spun up some companies. This looks good. It looks amazing. I'm really excited to dig into the activated charcoal. I've got into that myself lately. It is not only just taking it as a supplement to sometimes in my life, but now I got a new activated charcoal face wash that I really like as well. So when this popped up, when Bo put this on the calendar, I was super excited to talk about it. But before we get into that, I wanted to ask, Roger, is this the first brand you've ever launched, or have you done one before? Is this, because if this is the first one you've ever launched, like, hats off to you. This is awesome already.
Yeah, this is the first for sure. Woo. Yeah.
It's good, man. I've tried to launch a lot of brands in my day, but this is solid, man. This is really good. So congratulations to you.
That means the world to us. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So have you two talked about trying to go on Shark Tank and give your pitch? Is that something that interests you?
That may be something that we consider here. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of our previous guests, Sarah Apgar, she launched Fit Fighter.
You told me about her.
Yeah, right. Veteran as well.
She's a veteran, Army veteran, and she actually landed a deal on Shark Tank this last season.
Oh, wow.
So we have some connections we could potentially work up for you if that's of interest. At least you'd get all the insights, for sure. Yeah. No, so I agree with Luke 100%. I think the website, the branding, it just looks, the graphics are great, fantastic. But why? What put you in, and with your background, logistics as a 92 Alpha in the Army, like, what got you into the oral care product world? What sparked it? What did it for you?
Yeah, great question. There was nothing that really drove us into oral care. It was more of a happen chance conversation. My wife and I were itchy to pull the trigger on something that we could do together, something home based that we could just get going. And I wanted to build something around a brand that could give back to veterans. So that was my target. But I really couldn't figure out what I wanted to do. And then we had a conversation. It happened to be about toothpaste. She was upset about her toothpaste. She was using charcoal toothpaste. Something changed. Like, it wasn't the same. I don't know if they had changed an ingredient or something. She didn't like it anymore, the taste.
Yeah.
So it was like a light bulb moment for me. I went in, dug online, found a manufacturer here in Utah that does toothpaste, and then the process started shortly after that. We were like, hey, we could do this. I mean, there's a
Yeah.
lot of charcoal is trending in
Uh-huh.
many different industries now. But in oral care, it got some backlash from dentists because it's not always employed the right way. It's not always paired with the right ingredients. Like you take fluoride out, you do a fluoride free version of charcoal, there's a lot of dentists that are going to get upset about that because of the abrasion. So we took a different approach, and we paired it with ingredients that are on par with fluoride, and studies have shown that they might even be better. One's been used in Japan for the last 40 years. So they're natural alternatives to fluoride, and we took both of them and put them in this formula.
This might be a totally dumb question, but is fluoride a bad thing?
No, I mean, fluoride is good for teeth. There's no question. Fluoride is good for teeth. But there is a lot of pushback just out there, open source. You can find it online of negativity due to other health aspects. So there's studies currently being done and that have been done to try to rule that stuff out, but it's still left up in the air, whether it's good or bad for you in other ways outside of oral care. So so with that in mind, there's other ingredients that are natural that are out there that work just as good or even better than fluoride, and they're just not mainstream in America. In other countries they are. So that's the approach we took to solve the problem of employing charcoal safely here.
Well, I like what you're doing, because I feel like the sneakiest things that can cause health problems are the things that we use like so intimately every single day. Right. And the fact that, something like fluoride has been in use for so long doesn't give me the warm and fuzzies. Right. Cause just everything that's come out, like I just found out like there's horrible stuff in like regular antiperspirants and things like that are out there. And I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, I've been using this for like 30 years now. Like that can't be a good thing. So I really like where you're going with this, and forward thinking of what else can we use that's just as good, but maybe even a little bit safer. Like I think it's where the market's going.
Who gets credit for the name Grind? Who came up with that?
I guess I could say I did.
Yeah.
A little play on words. It's not meant
sure.
teeth, but grind, get after it. So the messaging there is very subtle. It's just a name on a tube, right? At face value, but we meant it to be more than a paste. So if it inspires even one person to overcome the challenge that they have in front of them that day, then we did right by the name.
Yeah, no, that was the very first when Marcus first reached out and was thinking about, writing the script for your ad and like looking at your website. Like that's, that vision for me was exactly that. Like you open the cabinet, you grab the toothpaste, and that you got that message right there. Grind. It's like, yep, I got to go after it today. Right. It's a subtle message, but it's there. I think that's pretty cool. And I think the other thing that's fascinating in this world, in this product market, the big companies like the Johnson and Johnsons, that have these global distribution channels and so forth. In today's market, they're looking for people like you that are doing the innovation and bringing new products to market. And they're just sucking up companies like that left and right. And then they have all those distribution channels out there and in place. It's pretty incredible how much they depend on. I remember studying it, even going through grad school, how much the large multinational corporations in this space, especially in personal hygiene, how much they depend on the small up and coming startups that are bringing new product innovation to the market. It's pretty incredible. So I think you have that in your future for sure. It's very appealing.
Oh, we hope. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Some of the big brands that are out there, the natural brands like Tom's of Maine and Hello, they've been bought up whole by Colgate. So definitely things that are happening out there for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. What's next? I mean, are there other products in the making? Is it focused on the toothpaste for now and get that rolling?
Yeah, it's we're strategic. Toothpaste for now, get that rolling, but we do have products in the lineup. We're working on some 3D renderings for a special toothbrush that we want to come out with next.
Nice.
Some floss, some manual toothbrushes and whatnot. So we got a whole slew of products. It's just we got to get after it with this first one, and that'll set the tone for everything else to follow for sure.
Yeah. Where's it now? It's a home-based business, but where's the product manufactured?
Salt Lake City.
Oh, it is. So it's
Yeah.
US made product.
Yeah. Everything is sourced actually in the US. So all the ingredients, the packaging, everything is sourced in the US.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
And then manufactured here. Yeah. Yep.
Oh, I think that's great. So in your experience, Roger, in doing this, right, from an entrepreneurial perspective, what are some of the things and the emotions that you felt that our listeners could benefit from? Basically just from your experience coming through this process, and it's still ongoing for you. So it's not like it's not like that's why you're partnering with Marcus and he's joined you and you're going to go after this marketing effort and really start pushing the product to get the brand awareness out there. But I mean, the entrepreneurial journey is quite something, and everybody has their experience. So how has this gone for you? What's a little bit of your story for our listeners?
It's been a roller coaster since we launched. We've had our fair share of challenges, and we'll continue to do that. I think we named it appropriately because it's going to be a grind going up against the big three in toothpaste, Crest, Colgate, Sensodyne. That's going to be a challenge in and of itself. So we've had some highs and lows. Some lows, we've had some quality issues with dealing with the manufacturer and had to kick some product back, and we're doing a rerun right now, holding them to it, and they're working with us. So that is really good. So it's a bad story turn good. And then, there's been some challenges just getting launched. We launched in the middle of COVID, right? So there was some challenges with supply chain issues, our manufacturing facility shutting down on us, delaying us. We delayed launch 3 times.
Wow.
I mean, the last delay was so they could actually produce hand sanitizer. So we got bumped like a month and a half just for them to produce hand sanitizer. They changed their whole lineup, and that's all they ran for like a month and a half. But then we got back in, got it going, got it launched. Challenges getting on Amazon, just not knowing what you don't know. Initially, like I worked there, but I worked in the inner workings of it, doing responsible for receive and storage inbound operations. But there was nothing that really, in my experience, would have helped me to launch a product on Amazon. That had some unique challenges in and of itself. Toothpaste is a gated category on Amazon, so it was a harder category to get into. So yes, you can get approved as a seller, but then you got to go through another iteration of approval process to get approved to sell toothpaste. So we made it through that. That was challenging. Took us 2.5 months just to get that going.
Wow.
And then we got on Amazon, and we actually seen some good steady growth. Got selected for Amazon Launchpad here in the US, which is meant to help us ramp up. Really good program. And then we found out recently we got selected into Amazon Launchpad Europe and Australia, and they're trying to get us into Japan right now as well. So,
wow.
So we got some avenues for international going, which is good. We're thankful for that. And then we got selected into the military entrepreneurship program with Amazon. That's a
congratulations.
Yeah. So
that's
some ups
fantastic.
and downs, but it's been a fun ride.
Have you faced, is there any FDA requirements that you had to go through?
Yeah, luckily our manufacturer is FDA approved facility, and everything they do is by the books. We worked with a chemist. That was a really fun part. 7 iterations. Yeah. So the toothpaste that's out there, that's iteration number 7 that we went with. The last 3 were just focused on flavor. So we had it dialed in at 4 with the ingredient deck, and then it was all flavor after that.
Wow. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So ballpark for us, if you will, or if you're willing to, so somebody that might want to get into such an endeavor and bring a new product like this, not necessarily like this, but small small hygiene type product that can be sold on Amazon, through your website and so forth. Ballpark, like upfront financials, because any entrepreneur has got to look at, what are the barriers to entry to get into the market? And of course, one of them is money. So depending on what it is you're going to go after as a business, that's a definite consideration. What are people looking at?
Well, I'm in 95,000 of my own money. We're self-funded, no debt, which is a good thing. But 95,000 of our own was invested in here, and it's fine. I can be transparent with that. No problem. I would say you can get in a lot lower. I went high because I knew what I wanted to price the product at. And I knew if I didn't buy at a higher minimum order quantity, because that's what all your production facilities are going to go off of.
Right.
Minimum order quantities, MOQs. I could have went with a lower one, but then I would have had to price my product higher and not compete well with in a competitive marketplace. So I went high initially, spent way more than most people would recommend right out of the gate, but I did so because I strategically wanted to compete right out of the gate.
Got it.
Smart.
Yeah, no, very smart. And I think that's whole point for asking the question is for people to realize, that if you're making certain decisions on the front end, to hopefully help set yourself up for success on the back end, but definitely a grind. No pun intended, right? For sure. Yeah, cool. I love it. I think it's a great story. And I think you're at the beginning of the journey. You're still at the beginning of your journey, and you're on your way.
Yeah, for sure.
What I love best about this, sorry, Bo, I did not mean to cut you off there, but
You're
what I love most about this is you're still have a full-time job, Roger.
I do.
Yeah.
I shift gears at 3:30. I wind down local time on my day job, and then 4:00 I pick it up with grind, and I'm going into the wee hours of the night most nights and on weekends.
Listeners, no excuse. Grind. Roger's doing it right now. The timing, Roger, let me ask you this, and I think I know the answer, but I want our listeners to hear it. Was there ever a good time to do this, or did you just decide to do it?
We just decided to do it. There was no good time. If I waited for a good time, when would it have been? I don't know. I would have probably just put it off.
Yeah, no, this is a common theme, and I think it's so important for the listeners to hear, because it is common from the different entrepreneurs that we've had on the show, even a couple of weeks ago with Dr. Jeff McGee out of Nevada, and just talking about, here it is, it's 8:30 at night Eastern time, and all four of us are still here going after what it is that we love to do, and what we're what it is that we're out to, the mission that we're on, the vision, to achieve the vision that we have. And Luke and I, before you guys came into the recording, we're talking about a previous guest this season, and also in Nevada, Lisa Song Sutton, and she was an attorney, and she started Sin City Cupcakes. But the company started, she was still a full-time attorney for 18 months before she was able to step out of that role and go into her business full-time. And now she owns 4 different businesses. So just, it really does. And I'll say, no pun intended, it is a grind. And if you're working full-time, and it's multiple full-time jobs, because you're doing grind, your day job, your night job, your weekend job. It's the only way. It's the only way. And it's really, in my opinion, Luke, it's the only way for you then to look back and say, whether you make millions or it doesn't go, whatever the case might be, but you can look back and say, I gave it everything. I literally gave it everything I had. Right.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. 100%.
It's the only way.
Well, what I love the most about the Lisa Song Sutton story, and if you haven't listened to the episode, it's a great episode, but my favorite takeaway from that was she wanted to get into the shipping industry, basically. So she was like opening up like what's kind of like a UPS store, but it's a shipping service that you could do UPS, FedEx, US Postal Service, all of that, right? So she goes up to a guy in Vegas that owns one and says, I'll give you $10,000 if I can follow you around for 2 weeks and you just show me your business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pays him 10 grand, follows him around for 2 weeks, goes and starts 2 stores. And now she's like, she was in Vail, I think, skiing while we were doing this podcast. And I was like, you know what? how awesome and creative is that when people spend like 6-7 figures sometimes on college right now, walks up to a guy and says, here's 10 grand in 2 weeks, show me your business, turns it around, and now she's skiing in Vail while the companies are making money. I mean, come
Yeah.
on. That's cool.
Yeah, Ship Las Vegas. That's the shipping company. She has 2 locations now, but yeah, but she was the same way, and I love it. And thank you for being open and transparent, because she was the same, and you know, the startup costs and what she spent, and but the effort and the time, money, resources that she put into it have definitely paid off.
Yeah, that's good. I think it's important to do that, unless you're loaded with money right out of the gate and you can afford to not do a day job. But the day job allows me to keep the lights on, allows me to not take anything out of the business. So every dollar goes back into the business to help grind get off its feet, right? So that's the goal for the near term, as long as it takes to make grind successful. We're not going to pull anything out of it. Everything goes back in.
This might come as a shock, but we do the same with the Bo and Luke show.
Awesome.
Yeah, we do. It's the only way, man. We're trying to get into that Joe Rogan era.
There you go.
We're not there yet. We got a little ways to go.
You'll be there. You'll be there.
Yeah. We keep getting guests like you guys, man. We'll definitely be there.
Oh, 100%.
That's right. Yeah. So Marques, what have you been up to? What's life for Marques Ogden? You've been back on the road, speaking, teaching, consulting.
Yeah. Back on the road, speaking, consulting, you know, doing a lot of podcasts, you know, lately for the business and marketing purposes. Has been great. I'm able to really highlight these great business relationships like I have with Roger, being an owner of Grind Oral Care, and being out there talking to people and just saying what we're up to, and just being very, like you said, forward thinking, and just getting out there and just marketing and getting and just not waiting around, not sitting around. Like I told Roger, that was something that I wanted to really work on, was getting on podcasts and getting out, because he has a great product and we have a great product. But we also are just like anybody else. When you're starting out, you got to get out there. You just got to market. So now with our business model and marketing strategy, we're able to get, you know, be very strategic and pick ways to get out there that are very cost effective and can hit mass amounts of people in a very quick and efficient way.
Yeah. I love that. I think that's awesome, because, you know, even you as an author, me as an author, you can, and it comes, the book is a product, right? And they're sold on Amazon, but that book could be filled with the greatest content ever written. But if people don't know that it's there,
nobody's going to buy it.
Nobody's going to buy it, right? Nobody's going to read it. Nobody's going to know it's the best content. So the same goes for new products hitting the market. I think that's where, you know, the marketing efforts, are huge, just huge.
Oh yeah. It's like, it's like you need to put time, energy, effort into getting out to people that you exist. What is your product? Why did you do it? What is the service? What is the value to them? And then you just get out there, you just keep pounding the pavement. And like I did with my speaking career, like you did both with your podcast, and like Roger did with Grind, you just got to keep getting out there and pound the pavement. And eventually, if you don't quit, it will pay off. Yeah,
for sure. I'd also like to ask, so listeners can hear straight from somebody who's doing it, Marques, in the line of work that you're in, and I've even noticed on social media, and because you're very active on social media, in the past several months, I mean, you've been doing you did some speaking out in Vegas. Are you seeing the in-person speaking, training, is it starting to come back, or what are you seeing from your line of work?
It's starting to come back. It's not nearly what it was, but it is coming back. Right now I'm at 70-30, 70% virtual, 30% on the road. I've been to Vegas, I've been to Orlando, Atlanta, I've been to Salt Lake City. I'll be heading to Cleveland. It's not next month. It's going to be in the summer in Q3. I got pushed back. I'll be in Cleveland. I will be in DC, Virginia in May. But again, it's marketing. Like we're running some ads now, you know, target search, you know, kind of like this to kind of keywords and getting out there. And I had a great phone call with Google yesterday, their head of education, and we're trying to I'm actually talking to them on Monday about trying to work with his group as a speaker, potentially virtual and also potentially in person. He said Google will not be back in the office until September, but trying to get something going with him this year.
Yeah.
And, but again, it's, I met him and a lot of these people through podcasts and all that stuff. So it's coming back, Bo. But I was saying I was 70-30, but for me, I only fly Delta because Delta doesn't have a middle seat. So if I'm flying right now, which I don't mind doing, I'm only on Delta because the way they keep their protocols to keep everybody as safe as possible while flying.
That's interesting. So Delta still has that, is what you're saying. They still
Correct.
have yes. In place.
Yes, they do. Yep, they sure do.
I know American Airlines does not.
I know that.
Not. Yeah,
I know that too. That's why I won't fly with them. It's nothing personal, but that's Delta's. I feel safer on Delta.
Yeah. That's a whole nother. I'm with you. Good stuff.
And if Delta has a stack of free tickets lying around, you need to send them to Marques Ogden right now for that amazing plug.
For that plug. Delta Airlines. Anybody listening with Delta, send some credits to Marcus's Delta Airlines rewards card.
That's right.
For sure. Yeah, they can use it for all their grind travel that they're going to do.
There you go. I like that.
Their product. Yeah. No, I think it's awesome. Great stuff. So Roger, how can before we let you guys go, how can people find the product? How long does it take to receive? How can they learn more about Grind?
Yeah, so we ship direct to consumer via our website, grindoralcare.com. Again, grindoralcare.com. And then we're also on Amazon, eBay, and Walmart.com. So.
And on Walmart.
Yep. You can also buy it right from our page on Instagram and Facebook as well, at Grind Oral Care. Yep.
Cool. At Grind Oral Care. Everybody got that?
Yes.
At Grind Oral Care. That is fantastic. I have one last question that just popped that I meant to ask earlier, because I think it's important when you're talking about a product where you're putting different ingredients together. Were there any patent requirements that you had to do or felt like you had to do?
No, there were no patent requirements, but we are trying to get it patented.
Okay,
so
got
it.
it.
Is something that's in the process right now.
So you didn't need to do that before you hit the market, but you are interested in going after that.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Good to know. Good stuff. Luke, any parting comments, thoughts for this
Roger,
for this amazing team?
Awesome what you're doing. You're an inspiration. I love that you're doing it while you have your day job going on as well. I can just already see you just, pun intended, grinding your way towards success and having it be a big milestone in your life when you can finally cut loose of everything else and fully focus on this. And it's awesome to meet you. If I'm ever in Salt Lake City, which I'm sure I will be in the future, I'm going to look you up. And Marques, man, I'll take any excuse I can to speak with Marques Ogden. So it's always great to have you back on the show.
Yeah, it's always good, man. It's to be back with you guys, and it's good to see you all doing great things and watching the show elevate to a high level. Great guests. You guys now have people paying for advertisement, which is awesome. So just keep doing your thing, fellas.
Appreciate that very much. Awesome. Great job. Keep going after it, Roger. We would love to be, when you get to the day and you make that decision and Grind is your full-time role, it's your full-time gig, and you step away from that day job, we would love to help you celebrate in that, because that'll be a huge milestone for you. So keep us posted, and we'll be watching. So for the Bo and Luke Nation, thanks for tuning in. That's a wrap. Tune in for a new episode every Thursday. You can subscribe to our email newsletter for information on upcoming guests, giveaways, and more. Rate, review, and subscribe. Thank you to our sponsor, Sound United, for quality broadcast audio throughout Season 2.